definitely not a sponsorship, but this Ben & Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie is unbelievably good. Despite the fact that we said we are about health and wellness, there is a reason why I'm eating ice cream besides the fact that it's incredibly tasty and it's Sunday afternoon and it's rainy and cloudy outside. But the fact of the matter is I've been losing weight like crazy over the past couple of weeks. And the reason for that is to refer back to our first video, which is here if you haven't seen it, where if you are one of the 50% of people who actually watched until the end, where I tried to build in a little cliffhanger where I said I made a rash decision, and that is that I entered for the Ironman Kärnten-Klagenfurt in Austria. So even though I'm from Namibia, my German isn't good, so I tried my best. But anyway, yeah, that's taking away from the fact what I just said. I entered for an Ironman. I haven't done any endurance like events in my life really. The furthest I've run before was a half marathon. The furthest I've cycled, I can't remember what it was before starting training, which was probably like 40 k's or so. And I don't think I've swam more than a kilometer unbroken ever actually. So yes, that's coming next year, the 16th of June. So I am currently 7 weeks into my training. I'm about 42 weeks out from the event. My plan is to make this a series of videos to sort of track how I'm doing, how various metrics progress over time. What I can say is that my training is like quite conservative and building up slowly at the moment. So I think it's programmed around 6 hours a week at the moment and gently starting to build up. So at the moment swimming about twice a week, cycling about 3 times a week and running about 3 times a week, with twice a week strength and conditioning session. Yeah, my training is programmed by a coach. When I decided to sign up, I obviously googled whatever I can and watched YouTube videos, and one of the recurring advice or pieces of advice is to get a coach. So that was one of the first things I did, and I haven't completed the event yet, so I can't say if it worked, but so far I can say that it feels like it was the right decision to make, because there's that accountability to it, because you have someone that actually checks in whether or not you did what you were supposed to do for a certain day. So that's actually really good. Some of the metrics that I want to track over time is obviously my weight, which is sort of where the idea actually to make a series came from, because I noticed I was losing a lot of weight. I started out at my lifelong average of about 77 kilograms, and now 7 weeks into training I'm at about 74. So for no specific reason, I would just like to get back to 77 and then try and stay there. So I will, over the course of this series, give some insight into what I'm eating at the moment. I am experimenting a bit, but that's a topic for a different video. I will also make a video about the equipment I'm currently using. As with YouTube and Ironman and sort of anything you want to do, it's not important to get the base equipment right off the bat. Sometimes some equipment helps though, so I will give an insight on that as well of what I'm using. Even though it does feel like a bit of an impulsive decision, I think it's not that impulsive. I think it's something that's sort of been building in me over my entire life. I've always been someone who struggled to build muscle, gain weight, or whatever like you want to call a hard gainer, and obviously fought my entire life to against my genetics in a sense. So trying to do all sorts of gym exercises to build muscle, whatever, and really actually fighting against being an endurance athlete. And then this year there was the West-Friesland of Ironman in our town where we live, and just watching those athletes sort of reignited the flame of wanting to maybe give that a try. So I decided, let me stop fighting against how I'm built and maybe embrace it and actually try and specifically train the endurance events. So run more, cycle more, and swim more, which is a bit of a struggle at the moment. The coaching service I'm using at the moment is from the Stellenbosch Triathlon squad. The reason I picked them is because I studied in Stellenbosch, and it's the one triathlon squad that I was aware of that existed. So I, after a quick Google search, figured out that they do have an online coaching service and just signed up for that immediately. I do think it's a great value for money service. So you can find their details linked in the description below. I will also add, for interest's sake, just a link to the equipment that I am using, but they will, as I mentioned, also be included in a separate video sometime in the future. So if you would like to follow along with the journey, please subscribe to the channel. If you like the thought of a journey like this, please hit the like button. It will really help us, and ultimately it doesn't cost you anything, so would be much appreciated. With that, I am going to finish my ice cream so that I can stop losing weight.